McCotter. He is the chairman of the Republican House Policy Committee. He is also on the House Financial Services Committee. And you are advocating this bailout much to the dismay of some people in your own party.
Well, I'm more dismayed that they would oppose it. If you look at the situation that we're in with 533,000 people losing their jobs in November, 6.7% unemployment rate in the country, and a credit market that is yet to stabilize, it strikes me as economic chaos, if not economically Darwinist, to say let everyone else in the auto industry go into bankruptcy, lose their jobs, lose their homes, and exacerbate a recessed economy into potentially a depressed one.
Let me read to you from the letter that some of your fellow House Republicans sent the president asking him to oppose this bailout. They write, "Tempting as it is to step in with a federal bailout, American taxpayers cannot afford to save every company facing financial peril." What do you say?
Well, it's not just a company, it's an entire domestic auto manufacturing industry. And so I think that they have to look at the long-term ramifications. We've also seen Moody's come out recently and say that the cost of a bankruptcy to the U.S. Treasury would be $200-some billion in lost revenue and in unemployment and in other human
So you're saying
costs.
that this bailout now would be cheaper than letting them go belly up?
Well, I would also argue to my colleagues that to allow the arsenal of democracy to go bankrupt in a time of war is not what got me to join the party of Ronald Reagan. We are a country, not an economy.
And from the senators' letter, senators like Jim DeMint, Jeff Sessions, John Ensign, they wrote the president a separate letter saying, absent such restructuring, talking about the give-backs that they wanted to ask of the United Auto Workers, absent such restructuring, we do not believe any amount of money will succeed in saving these companies. Okay, so let's say your idea is correct, and let's say they are right. You give them money now, are they going to make it long-term?
This is why the House bill had not just a bridge loan, but had a CARSAR, had a stakeholders process in place that would get to the painful restructuring decisions that are required. I would also point out to the senators the painful restructuring that has occurred in the auto industry and in Southeast Michigan to date shows our bona fides that we understand this. This is why we're not jumping up and down getting $65 haircuts or our fingernails pedicured. The reality is we know the bridge loan gets us into more painful restructuring. Even the UAW has said they understand that and are prepared for concessions. But what we object to in the Senate is someone stepping in and trying to dictate the outcome of that process at the threat of allowing the entire industry to go bankrupt.
But you've heard the argument. Here you've got free market companies with boards and CEOs and everything else, and they find themselves in this horrible position. How is some government appointee going to be able to magically wave a wand and make decisions better than the free market has made?
First, under the House bill, the CARSAR was able to recall the loans if sufficient restructuring was not in place to protect taxpayers. Secondly, I would ask a lot of my Senate and House colleagues, did you vote for the CAFE mandates that made it harder for the companies to survive? That's an intrusion into the free market. I would ask them, did you support the Farm Bill, which is an intrusion into the free market? I would ask them, did you support the Wall Street bailout, which has actually retarded the ability of the credit markets to stabilize and get money into the people who are being foreclosed on their homes, which is the root of the problem. So many questions abound.
Michigan Republican Thaddeus McCotter. Thank you.
Thank you.
John, some new developments from Orlando, Florida we want to get to in the Kaylee Anthony case. I think we have a live picture we can take and show you of the scene. We're told that some of the top investigators